Welcome to Home Practice. This class is called Your Body, Your Instrument Part 2. Hi, my name's Amy. I am a standing dancer with curly hair and I'm currently 8 months pregnant. So this class is actually a sequel class to Your Body, Your Instrument. And so we will continue to look at how one might embody musical terminology. So how it can influence the quality of the movement, create layers, and then also develop moments of detail. The class does stand alone, but it culminates in a sequence that can be added on to the sequence from the first part. So it might be quite fun to do both. It will also provide you with a really good morning or afternoon of physical learning. It is quite complicated, so I really actively encourage you to pause and practice, and then also use the timestamps that I can direct you to. It'll be really useful to help you navigate the class and get the most out of it. And then you might also want a memory aid, so grab a notebook and pen if that's something that you're used to doing and helps you learn. So first we're going to start by tuning into our instrument, so waking up our body, kind of giving it some information. So just being very kind of casual with your placement, make sure you have space around you, and we're going to begin just by tapping at one arm. Quite nice, firm taps. And then down the inside of the arm. And again, so up the outside of the arm. Down the inside. Really light tracing down the inside. Other side. You might not want to be quite as strong as me with your taps. Do what you need. I quite like feeling that echo of the touch afterwards. And then very light fists. You're just going to gently knock along the line of the sternum and the clavicle. And then a little bit into the chest. And then lean forwards. Perhaps bring yourself away from the back of your chair if you're in a chair. And just get into, oops, just punched my microphone. Into the back of the body. You can be a bit more vigorous with these punches. And then making little cupping hands. We're going to cup down the outside of the legs and then lightly tap up the inside. And you might want to do one at a time if that's going to help you reach the bottom of your legs. And then very kind of hard tips of fingers. We're going to do quite hard rain on top of the skull. It should be a bit stingy. It's quite noisy in the head as well. I quite like this. And then the opposite, very light, and the front part of the fingertip. Little raindrops on the face, very delicate. And the eyes and the jaw and the neck. And then finally pulling your earlobes down a few times. I think this feels glorious, but might not be too keen. Give it a go. And opening the eyes. So just place thumb and index finger one side and other side of the eye, and then stretch the eyes a couple of times. Good. So we're now going to move into an improvisation, 3 short improvisations using different musical tempos as a stimulus for the movement. And the first one we're going to look at is Largo, and this word will also come up on your screen in case that's useful for you. And Largo means to play at a very slow tempo, and it means wide and broad in Italian. So also for me, the word has quite a heavy, kind of strong feeling to it. And we're going to work with lots of resistance in order to help us move really slowly. So some music will come in now to help support us with this improvisation. And I want you to imagine that the space around you is really thick, really full and heavy, and in order to move through it, you really have to use your muscles and your energy to push or pull your body through that thick, textured air. You might want to start very, very small in just one part of your body, or you might feel ready to work with the whole body. And try not to build the tension into the body, but really push it out away into the space. It's about pushing through the space. If it helps for you to give a little bit more information or thought to what that space around you is, you might want to give that space a colour. Or perhaps even a smell. For me, the smell of earth and mud comes to mind. Or perhaps you have a specific substance that you're thinking about pushing through. Maybe toffee, something edible. How can you fold your body through this thick substance? How can you lift parts of the body through this substance? How can you work with the extremities, your fingers, toes, face is quite interesting to play with. So not only as you open the face, but also as you close, working the mouth, the eyes, the jaw. How can you balance through this thickness? Keep breathing. Keeping that slow tempo. And hopefully that effort to push through this thick substance is beginning to get you warm. And you're going to bring this down in 5, in 4, in 3, 2, and 1. Nice. It's got me warm. I'm going to take my jacket off. So now we're going to come to our second tempo or musical instruction, and that is Andante. And Andante means to be played at a moderately slow tempo and can also mean at a walking pace. So perhaps it's quite a nice term to begin to adopt in your language use when you're in the space. It might be quite an inclusive way of asking people to walk around the space. Just a thought. And for this, I want us to begin by listening to the music, actually. So you'll hear the music come in. And just begin by shifting in your space. You can keep it very small. You could keep your bass on the spot and just shift body off your center line. And then I want you to start to think about the arc of this movement, the swing, and just beginning to play a little bit more with the undercurve of your shift. It's quite nice to think about in one part of the body. The undercurve of the pelvis. The arms. So use that lovely, plodding, moderately slow tempo to find the swing, the weight in the body. Maybe you shift a bit more. Maybe you play more on the spot. If you're always working with your extremities, how can you bring it in towards the center of the body? Be nice and gentle with yourself. Just a bit longer. And bringing that little shift down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So the final tempo we're going to work with, musical tempo, is Prestissimo. I love the sound of that word. It means to be played very rapidly, and the sound for me is quite hissing, Prestissimo, and light, quite onomatopoeic, I think. It makes me feel sort of a bit like sort of fizzy pop. Whew. And also you'll see again the word come up. It was also shown when I spoke about Andante, because sometimes it's useful to see these words as well as hear them. And we're going to think about wafting for this improvisation. So the space around us, instead of being very thick, is very light. And you're going to think of wafting the space around you, maybe almost like you're trying to get rid of an insect, a little fly, swatter fly, shifting the air around you. You might also want to think of the skin being a little bit ticklish, or like you're playing an invisible instrument in the space. So I'm going to lead you through, we're going to work through the body with this, so just keep listening to my instruction and the music will really help you. So let's get that music playing. Very rapid. We're going to start with just our hands and fingers. I quite like to think of an invisible piano. Shifting the air, wafting. Very light, very easy. And then you might want to think of adding the elbows, or just doing a little elbow waft, or elbow, hand and wrist waft. And then let your shoulders, keep it light, ticklish skin, wafting, maybe your hands, forearms come back in. Letting your chest have a little play. Your head. Keeping it light. Gradually just building up to using more and more of the body. Your pelvis. How can you waft your pelvis? Your knees, feet, ankles. Making your choices now. Maybe you back to your hands. Maybe focus on your feet. Keep breathing. Keep it light. Maybe focusing on just the head. And we're going to stop this improvisation very quickly after 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let all of that bubble around you. Hopefully lots of energy. Have a little drink of water and then we'll come back for the second part. So now we're going to look at harmony. So harmony in music is when at least 2 notes are played together. And I really tie this to the word harmonious. So when something is tuneful and really pleasing on the ear, and it's kind of a whole rather than something that's quite discordant. So we're going to look at that in terms of movement. So it's about being quite instinctual and the movement feeling really quite good on your body. And all the way through, you can copy what I do, but I would rather, or I'm going to actively encourage you to find your own movement and subsequent harmonies. So I'm going to use the term movement and note interchangeably. So when I say your bass movement, I might also say your bass note. I just think it's quite nice to start to sort of blur the lines of language. And then each time we will repeat again. So make sure you know that you need to be in a place where you repeat the movement. We're going to repeat quite a few times. So if you end up in a low position, that's probably not the best place to finish. Yeah, unless you're very quick at coming back up again. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you the structure and then we're just going to go for it to music, see how it feels, and then I'm going to direct you to perhaps try it again or revisit the music and really take it how you need. So we're going to take a bass movement and then we're going to add on 1 harmony to begin. And I'm really going to encourage you to have quite a simple bass movement. So I'm going to show you my first bass movement. It's just a circle of the arm back to front. And then your harmony could last the entirety of the length of this bass movement, like so. Or it could just go on the end. Or the beginning, yes? So you have a lot of choice. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong, but it should feel quite organic, quite juicy. We are going to gradually build up the amount of harmonies. So we're going to start with a bass movement and we're going to repeat 4 times. And it might take you until that 4th time to find out what it is. And then we're going to add 1 harmony to this bass movement and we'll repeat 4 times. So you have the bass movement and harmony happening together. We're then going to find a new bass movement. We do it 4 times and we add 1 harmony again. Do them together 4 times. We're then going to find a new bass movement and add 2 harmonies, everything 4 times. And we're going to do that twice, a bass movement, 2 harmonies. And then we're going to find a bass movement and add 3 harmonies, and we're going to do that twice. So we'll have 6 bass movements altogether, 2 with 1 harmony, 2 with 2 harmonies, and 2 with 3 harmonies. I'm going to just show you an example of one of my bass movements with 3 harmonies, just so you don't feel too overwhelmed and you can kind of get an idea of where I'm heading. So my first movement, or my bass note, is just going to be this with the arms. I'm keeping it simple. This is my advice to you. And then I'm going to add on a harmony. So that might be my first harmony. We will do it 4 times, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to add in another harmony. So just quite simple, just feeling what feels good. And then my final harmony, I'm just going to add a little ripple at the end. Yeah, so there's lots of choices, but it all feels quite sort of fluid and intertwined. At the end of this, you're going to have some set material that we're going to use again later, so just bear that in mind. So I think we just have to go for it. The music is there to really help you. Each time the bass movement changes, the music changes. So you might even just want to listen to the music once through. Yeah, but we're going to have a go. You can copy me, find your own movement, or simply listen, whatever you need to do at this point. But the music will come in now. We'll have a go. I can't promise I'm going to do what I hope I'm going to do. Just keep my fingers crossed. Nice intro. Just feeling the pulse. So it's quite slow. First bass movement. Twice more. And I'm going to add on my first harmony. Get ready to change your bass movement. 3 more times. I'm going to add on my harmony. Get ready to change, new bass movement. This one, we add on 2 harmonies, but 1 at a time. So first harmony. Second harmony. Bass movement coming up. Add on 2 harmonies, 1 at a time. So first harmony. Second harmony. New bass movement. This one we add on 3 harmonies. First harmony. Second harmony. Last harmony. movement. Breathe. First harmony. Second harmony. Last harmony. Let that go. You might have found that really frustrating. That's okay. I was asking you to do a lot all in one go. So I'm going to recommend you pause and practice now. Have a think about all of that. Try and clarify and consolidate your own bass movements and harmonies. And then go back to the last timestamp and repeat again with music. You might want to go back twice. You might want to go back the first time and just listen to the music and really use the music. And then the second time or third time as well to practice with your movement. And then try and retain that movement for then, in a couple of parts' time, we're going to use it in a sequence. Great. So we're now going to look at upper and lower mordants, which are used as musical decoration. So on the screen now you'll see an upper mordant and then below a lower mordant. There's also written upper mordant and lower mordant, in case that's useful. So at the top you're going to see how it appears on a musical score. So there's a note, and then above that note there's a jagged horizontal line. This is for an upper mordant. And then just below that, you'll see what it means. So what it's asking you to do is play that given note and then move very quickly to the note just above and then back down again to that given note. So it's da-da-dum. The lower mordant is exactly the same, except it goes to the lower note. And the symbol is the same, except that jagged horizontal line has a vertical line going through it. So, just to be clear, the lower mordant, you play the given note, you move down to the note below and then back to that given note. So, da-da-dum. That wasn't very tuneful of me, but you get the idea. So this is what we're going to play with now. So how I'd like to play with this in terms of movement is using the breath and then using a slight change of movement and then a resettle back to the original movement in order to communicate or translate that upper or lower mordant. So let's do it, that's the best way to explain it. So I'm going to start by taking like a little running man position. You can copy or you can find your own position. And in this position, I exhale. This is my note. We're going to do an upper mordant first. So as I inhale, I change to a slightly more elevated or extended position, and then I exhale again back to my original note. So it would look and sound like this. Have a little go. The breath really helps me. So I exhale as I settle into the note, inhale up to the note, exhale back down to that note again. That's an upper mordant. Have a go a few times. In between, we'll just have a little rest to resettle. So, ready and 2, 3, 4. Ready to go again. Out in out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you might just want to practice the breath or just the movement. If the breath makes you a bit dizzy, don't worry too much. It just helps me get that shape and that feeling. So let's find a few more of these upper mordants. So the next one, I'm going to start with my knee up towards my chest, my hands on my knee. This is my exhale. I'm going to take it slow to begin. As I inhale, I'm going to send my heel down and lengthen my body away. So it doesn't necessarily have to, everything in the body raise. I feel like I extend a bit to my upper note, and then I contract a bit back to my original note. So that would look and sound like this. 7, 8, out, in, out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yeah, you get the idea. If you want to pause and just kind of have a think what your second upper mordant would be, then great. Otherwise, we're going to move to a third one. So my third one, I'm just going to rotate my shoulders on one side of my pelvis in. This is my note. This is our exhale here. I'm going to inhale and just open everything out a little bit. That my little extension, my little higher note, and then exhale back to my original note. So that would look like this. 6, 7, and out, in, out. 2, 3, 4. You'll resettle. You can change your position, or you can just come back to neutral. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool, so those are our upper mordants. Our lower mordants, we just work with the opposite breath, and we move to a slightly lower position, lower note, and then back up to that original note. So it's an inhale, exhale, inhale. So my first note is going to be an inhale here. I'm going to inhale up. If I start up, it's easier for me to find a slightly lower position. Slightly cheating, but see how you feel. So my in here, I'm going to exhale, soften a little bit, or kind of contract, however you want to think about it, and then inhale back. So that would look like this. 6, 7, and in, out, in. 2, 3, 4, just with my breath. 7, 8. That is my first lower mordant. I'm just going to give you a couple more examples, and then we're going to put it all to music. Maybe pause between each example if you want to take a bit of time to find your own, or you want to consolidate what I do. So my second one, I'm going to do the reverse of my close, open, close that I did for an upper mordant. So I'm going to open into my note, I'm going to close into my lower note, and open back again into my note. So that would look like this. 6, 7, and in, out, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2, 3, and so on. My final one, I'm going to lift one leg and my arms out to the side, like a really sort of confident bird. And then as I exhale to my lower note, I soften everything down a bit, and then I inhale back up to my original note. I'll just take this once. 6, 7, and in, out, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to take all of this to music. Use it as a practice as well to really find out what it is. I reiterate, if you feel a bit dizzy with all that kind of set breathing, do what you need. It just really helps me. We're going to take each upper mordant, which we have 3 of, 4 times with a reset in between. Each lower mordant 4 times. We have 3 of them with a reset in between. Your reset, you might just want to come back to a very zen, neutral place. You might want to shift around the space and let it all go. So let's listen to the tempo of the music. Nice and steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rhythm goes 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba, ba, ba. Let's get ready for our first one. 5, 6, upper mordant. Resetting. 5, 6. Do what you need in between. Maybe you want to change facing. Coming to our second upper mordant. Again, you might want to change direction. You might want to walk in between, shift in between. Take yourself by surprise. Last time. We're coming to our third upper mordant, our third and final. 7 and. Twice more. It might evolve a little bit each time. That's nice, it's fine. We're going to come to our lower mordants. We in, out, in, and. And again. Seven, and. Last time. 2, 3, 4. New lower mordant. 6, 7, and. 5, 6, 7, and. In, out, in. 5, 6, 7, and. In, out, in. Last time. In, out, in. Last lower mordant, 4 times, and. 4, 5, 6. Have a little bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously. 5, 6, 7, and. In, out, in. 2, 3, 4. Last time. 5, 6, 7, and. In, out, in. 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. So again, hold on to all that information. Maybe just think about which of your upper mordants was your favourite and which of your lower mordants was your favourite. And then we're going to put all of this lovely, juicy information into a sequence. So we're going to put all the information we've worked on into a sequence now. So hopefully you remembered the things we've been looking at. So we're going to start with our harmonies. So we're just going to take the note, the bass note or movement, and the harmonies that you attach to that note and do it all as one movement. It'll become clear when I show you. So my first bass note with one harmony was this. So find your first bass note with your one harmony and you do it all as one movement. So no repetitions, we just do it once. I'm just going to show you a couple of times mine to give you the opportunity to re-find yours. It's really slow. And then we take our second bass note or movement with the one harmony. This one was mine. So take a bit of time to find your own, or if you're using my movement, taking mine. So just to recap my first bass note with harmony, I circle the arm and I grab with the other hand. My second bass note with harmony, I step out to the corner, lift my elbows, and then recenter myself. I then take my third bass movement with my two harmonies. So for mine, it was a pull in with the arms, they're connected as I turn to the back and I curve, and then I turn to the front and I circle the arms into a high arch. I'm just going to take this a few times so you can find your own, or again, follow me. So I pull the arms in and turn to the back. I circle the arms and lift the chest. I pull the arms in and circle to the back. I keep turning and lift the chest. So that's my third movement. Then I take my fourth bass movement, got hair on my, with 2 harmonies also. So this one, I circle the leg and I curve in like a ballet fourth position, which is like an open position. I then come back and again a little circle and lift of the chest. So this was my third bass movement with 2 harmonies. So now you should have 4 movements. My fifth movement with 3 harmonies, I circle the arms around each other. I shift out to the side as I ripple the arm and lean into it. Circle the arms around, shift to the side and ripple the arm. My centre of gravity is quite far forward at the minute, hence that little hiccup last time. And then my 6th and final movement of the sequence, I reach my arms out to the side with one of my legs lifting, and then I take a little ripple in my chest. I also drop the body down as I send the arms and legs out, little ripple in the chest. I'm going to take it a couple more times for those of you that are following what I do. So now you should have 6 movements, 6 harmonies, so 6 notes or movements with harmonies. So let's just try that all together. Nice and slow. 6, 7, and number 1, 3, 4, number 2, 3, 4, number 3, 3, 4, number 4, 3, 4, number 5, 3, 4, number 6, 3, 4. So we're here. You're then going to choose your favourite upper mordant, mine's the running man, and you go straight into that lovely rhythm. Ba, ba, ba. Yes, so I'm going to go straight into my exhale, inhale, exhale, da, ka, da. I'm going to reset quite quickly and then take my favourite lower mordant, and mine is the sort of slightly strange bird. Yeah, so after you've done your last harmony, shum, ba, reset, and in, out, in, reset, and. So they happen quite quickly together. That's the whole first chunk of the sequence. We're then going to re-look at our musical tempos, and we're going to start with Largo. So remember, Largo was very slow tempo with all of that resistance. We worked with pushing through this kind of thick space. So from wherever you finish your lower mordant, you're going to think of pushing through the space to open the arms and lift the chest, and then coming back, pushing through the space, back to the centre. It's not going to be quite as slow as perhaps you were exploring earlier, because we're going to do it to a set amount of counts. Yeah? So we're going to go nice and slowly for 4 slow counts. 1, 2 to open, 3, 4 to close. We're then going to take Prestissimo, which was that very rapid, wafting, kind of ticklish skin sensation that we were playing with. And we're going to use a triplet, so it's going to go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a back, back. So a triplet and then a double at the end. Back, 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 back. Yeah, and we are going to waft a wrist up, waft a wrist down, and then the opposite hand is going to take a little dab with the finger across. So waft up, waft down, and dab. That's the first triplet. Ba, ba, da. Try a couple of times. Da, da, da. And again. Da, da, da. Nice. Then we're going to waft with the same arm that wafted before, but the elbow. Up, down. And then a little dab back with the arm that pointed. We're going to dab back with the elbow of that arm. Pa. So that one goes elbow, elbow, elbow. Waft, waft, jab. Not a jab, it's a dab really. So it goes wrist waft up and down with a little dab with the finger. Elbow waft up and down with a little dab with the elbow. So it goes 6, 7, and ba, 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 ba. Oh, I went totally weird. I'm going to go again. Waft, waft, point, waft, waft, jab. Yes? Then we're going to do a little up, up, down in the body. You have a choice. It could be one shoulder, other shoulder down. It could be onto the toes and lower. But it's just 3 little movements. Up, up, down. Back, back, down. Up, up, down. Up, up, down. So all our triplets go. Waft, waft, point, waft, waft, jab, up, up, down. And then our double is just 2 head looks. I'm just going to look side to side, but you might find 2 very specific places to look a bit more interesting than mine. So that will go back, 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 back. Ready, and back, back, da, 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 da. That's our Prestissimo. And then finally, we're going to do Andante, which is that lovely swing, kind of moderate, slow pace, and I'm just going to swing my arms in opposition, and I'm also going to step out to the corner, but that opposition arm is kind of the most important thing. I change the opposition arm, maybe you can lift the opposite leg, up to you, and then I just drop to face the front. So we have a weight first, so we've just done da, da with the head. We wait 1, we swing 2, we swing 3, we drop 4, and that's the whole sequence. Let's try from the beginning of our tempos, so our Largo into Prestissimo into Andante. So we have just finished our lower Mordant, wherever that is for you, and we press through the space in Largo, 2, back to center 3, 4, Prestissimo, ba, 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 wait, swing, swing, drop. And that is the whole sequence. So we're just going to go with music, I think, is the best way to do it. Let's have a go. I'll talk and we'll do, and then I'll try and talk a bit less as we do the second time with the music. Just check out the tempo. It's really nice and slow. 6, 7, and harmony 1. Harmony 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, upper Mordant, lower Mordant, Largo, center yourself, Prestissimo, ha 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 ha, da 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 da, wait, swing, swing, drop. Yes? Hopefully that was clear. We're going to try again. Ready? 5, 6, 7. Movement 1. Movement 2. Enjoy. 3, 4, 5, 6, upper mordant. Reset, lower mordant. Largo, press. Lots of resistance, center. Prestissimo. One. Swing, swing, drop. Okay, good. So if you want to spend some time doing this, repeating it, go back to the last time stamp and it will be where I start the music and we take it a couple of times through. So take it as many times as you need. And then there's also going to be a link in the comments to a video of me putting this sequence with the sequence from the first installment of Your Body, Your Instrument, so that you can begin to really dance quite a meaty piece of movement if you've managed to do those sessions. All that's left for me to say is a big thank you, and do visit the other episode. Like, subscribe, and share. Comments are really welcome. We really value your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.